They don't announce it till the night, which is just, I hate it because you have to go up on stage.
Yeah.
And then they'll be like top 5 for so like the one I really want to win is a comedy act, but it's all good either way. But then they'll introduce the 5 guys, and then you stand there by each other, and then they announce the winner. So then if you don't win, you feel like the biggest, like,
yeah,
it used to be like a normal show. They would just, if you won, they'd be like, okay, your clown of the year is John Harrison. And then he walked up, but there wasn't 4 other people standing there.
What else do they announce like that?
Everything.
The year.
Yeah.
The year end. But yeah. Sorry, I don't know why I was thinking like obviously I don't know what else I was thinking, but
so it's just weird. I don't know. It's you never know, like you're almost like a beauty pageant,
yeah. How many times have you won it?
10.
That's a bunch.
Yeah, it's good. Like I know that my time of winning is gone, which is fine.
Why's that? Why do you say that?
Well, people want you to do good, but not for too long, which is fine. Like I'm more happy than, I'm happy with it, and I'm booked solid for next year. And so it really doesn't matter and that's not to sound shitty about it, but like if I don't care, like I've been so fortunate to get to win. So now that like my winning time is over, and like you've seen it with announcers, and they win for a while, or like Stace won it 10 times in a row, and then Frontier's won it a ton, and now who knows, the people just quit voting for it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so that's the hard part. I'm like, I know that my time's over, and I'm okay with it, but I just hate standing up there, like an idiot when you lose. Because what do? Do you hug them? Do you shake their hand? Do you cheer? And everybody's watching you.
You're obviously happy for them, but then on the other hand, you're like, "Why I'm up here?"
Yeah, like I'd be happy just if they went up by themselves. This wasn't recorded, was it?
Yeah, but we can trim it off.
Oh, I didn't know it started.
You don't like it?
No, it's all good. I didn't know.
Because Cole Wetzel was talking about how, when you start, everybody wants like you to be their thing. Like with music, like they know this new thing, and then once you get big enough, it's almost like they stop liking you because everybody else does.
Yeah,
is that what happened?
I don't know.
I feel like everybody likes you.
I don't know, and it's okay if they don't. But I seriously think though, everybody wants you to do good, but not too good, because just like the bullfighters, at the NFR. Like Tugnus and them that are just so good, and Webster, they've got to do it so much, and I'm like, man, I'm so excited for those guys. They deserve it. And then you see people are like, well, they need to, they should not let those bullfighters. They should have to switch bullfighters to the NFR every couple of years, because they need to let other people in there. And I'm like,
that sounds like some DEI bullshit.
It is, but I'm like, these guys are the best, so why not? If you want to be at the NFR, get better. Like, do better than them.
Also, it's voted on by the guys that are going to ride there.
So it's weird how people and everybody loves Webster. Everybody loves Webster, but some people are like, well, but he's got to work the finals a lot. Well, he's the best. Of course he is.
You know who loves Webster the most? The guys running their hand in the rope.
Yeah, I would get if Cody Webster was fighting bulls, I would get my big butt on a bull.
Dude, I'd
be safe.
There's no better feeling. I would get on any bull in the world with those two guys in the arena.
Yeah, and plus with Austin Ashley, AA, he's unbelievable. He's there this year too. So everyone's like, "Oh, Austin, you did it!"
There's at least a dozen guys I can think of off the top of my head that I would feel that same way with in the arena.
Oh yeah,
but those 15 bull riders, well, 20, isn't it? The 20.
Yeah, the top 20
vote. They pick those guys. To me, that one's.
But you are right. There is some.
Easy.
That sounds pageant queenie. That you guys all deserve it. Like honestly, there is so many guys that could do the NFR, but there only gets to be 3. And so if you want to be in the top 3, you got to make it happen. And I hope that didn't sound bad, but I don't like people. And same with college sports. Like when Alabama was winning everything, they're like, we hate Alabama. They win every year. Well, make your team better.
Yeah.
Beat Alabama. Like everybody gets a shot.
I never disliked Tom Brady just because he won all those Super Bowls. Like I couldn't figure out why people started to dislike somebody just because they won a lot.
Yeah. And so like with my deal, I've got to win 10 and I'm so thankful. And I've got to win 3 of the Coors Man of the Can Awards. And I got to win the 2019 Comedy Act of the Year. So like, I am beyond thankful for the times that I've got to go up on that stage. So I would never want to seem like, oh, it's no big deal. But at the same time, I know those days of me being at the top isn't, I can still do good and still be in the top 5, but actually winning, it's probably done for a while. And that's cool. Like I'm more than, I told everybody, I hope JJ Harrison wins it. He never has won it. I've won it a bunch. John's won it a bunch, but JJ, he works hard. Great guy. So much more energy than I got. But you know what? If he would win it, I'd be so happy. If Matt Tarr won it, Sosby, I honestly, from the bottom of my heart, would just be so happy for those guys. So, Dusty Myers, who first time at the NFR this year from Mississippi, great guy, super good old school rodeo clown. I'm happy for him. So, I think that there's so many people that are happy when something new happens, but it also at the same time, it's okay if you're good enough, like Tuckness, to do it 43 years in a row, That's what I told Tuck. I was like, what was it like 40 years ago at the first NFR in Vegas, your rookie year?
What was it like the first year they had it in Vegas? It never crossed my mind that you wouldn't be happy for anyone else that won it. Like just knowing you, I feel like, of course, you would be just excited to lift any of those other guys up if they won over yourself. But how does it make you? I mean, it sounds, we're talking about something very specific, but is this affect the way you feel about clowning throughout the year?
No. And the saddest part of the awards banquet is in 2 days, nobody's going to really remember who won, and that's the thing. It's pretty cool for the moment. But like, I've even had people be like, hey, you won, like, I'll be at a rodeo and the announcer will be like, now you won Clown of the Year last year, right? I'm like, no, I haven't won it for like 3 or 4 years. Like, oh, you sure? I'm like, yeah. And so while it's such a big deal at the time, if you get a week or two down, you get 4 days in the NFR, no one really remembers who won what.
Yeah, that is so true. And I mean, it's hard. There's a lot of events, like you've got to be on top of your stats. Like there's very few people that could list, for instance, each world champion from last year.
Well, in all sports, can you name the last 4 years of the national champions in college football?
Dude, I don't even remember. I don't even know who won the Super Bowl this last year.
The Eagles. I do remember that because they beat the Chiefs. That's a whole nother story, but that's because I'm a Chiefs fan. But, like besides that, you think of who won the NBA, who won this. Like, it's such an honor and it is a big deal and it makes you feel great. And it's cool to walk up on the stage and get that buckle. But at the same time, you got to realize, like I've told some of these younger guys that are disappointed that they haven't got into the top 5. I'm like, but you know what? You guys are getting a rodeo for a living. Come January, you're back to rodeoing. You're getting to do what you want to do and you're successful at it and you're making money. So even if you don't get in the top 5, don't let that validate or don't let that ruin your whole year. It's a very specific deal. I mean, but in anything, people want to be successful, but it's hard sometimes for guys that don't get in the top 5. What am I doing wrong? Who do I need to try to impress or what needs to happen different? And my answer always is, man, just keep doing your thing. Just work hard, do your thing. And if it works good, great. If you look at the bullfighters at the NFR, Corey Wall, one of the best bullfighters ever.
Yeah.
Never got to the NFR. Mark Swingler, great barrel man, unbelievably great rodeo clown, never worked the NFR. So if you start looking at people that have not got to the NFR, that have rodeoed there forever and had great careers, at the end of the day, the awards in the NFR is great, but it doesn't say if you were good or not.
Yeah,
does that make sense?
Oh, for sure. I mean, it's a voted on event.
Yeah.
Position, I should say. But I mean, and also it makes sense that it's voted on because, the bull riders are the ones that need to, they're the ones that are getting on the bulls. So that, I mean, I'm not arguing with that, but it does kind of put a little bit of a unique flavor on, you know, just how a bullfighter approaches the year. I think.
But here's the hard part, though, and not even being a bullfighter, but just being around the whole deal. So when you look at people's careers of guys that have worked really hard to try to fight bulls at the NFR, at the end of the year, whether they work the NFR, say they've been fighting bulls for 10 years at great rodeos, at the end of the day, it's going to come down to a lot of 18 and 19-year-old kids that are, you know, maybe 20-year-olds that are making their first NFR that are not really concerned who's fighting bulls. As you know, I've talked to several. I'm like, who are you going to fight? Who are you going to try to vote for the finals? Man, I don't know. They're all good. Whoever, you know, they don't, a lot of these young guys, they don't say, well, this guy, even though I was 8 years old when he started, this guy's put his time in and he's good enough to go to the finals. But we're going to do, you know, they're like, well, whoever, you know, so that's the hard part for the bullfighters. I feel like that they're, you know, their NFR is in the hands of a lot of young kids that don't really put a lot of thought into who does it because they know if you give them 15 guys that are all good enough, they don't really care because they know they're going to be taken care of.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that's true because they got that dozen in their head like I just mentioned.
Yeah.
Like they know they can all do it. So it may come down to like a friend thing.
Well, you know, I've always been upset when people are like, oh, it's such a popularity contest. It is. Everything is. Yeah. I mean, in rodeo, at the awards banquet, everything is a popularity. It is all who you know because that's who vote. I mean, there's the guys that say, well, I don't politic or I don't politic. Like everybody politics, whether you want to or not. I mean, you know, making connections and being nice to people and
your girlfriend
playing the game.
Yeah,
you know,
politic to get hurt.
It's so crazy. The convention out here is just nuts. You know, everybody wants jobs and whatnot.
I mean, getting the rodeos helps. You know, if you're good enough to get this rodeo and then this committee hires you, and then if you're at every rodeo and and you're at every stop that these bull riders are making, I mean that's obviously a, you know, if nobody ever sees you throughout the year, it's going to be hard for guys to vote for you.
Yeah. So I mean
that's how you climb the ladder, I would say.
It's pretty wild in that there's the bull riding talent's great. The young bullfighters, like I said, with Austin Ashley, there's another kid named Dane. I think his last name's Porcaney or something like that. I seen him at Rapid City this summer. Like, there's a lot of dudes out there that Bo Sheets, fastest man on cleats. You look at all these guys, it's like, man, they're all so good. You wish that everybody would have a shot at the finals. But like I said, at the year, it's only 3 guys that get to go, so it's just tough.
Do you think there's ever a chance they fight bulls again at the finals?
No, I don't.
Just because of the time?
Yeah, I think that ship has sailed. I think anymore we're, you know, the NFR, if you look at, I was watching 1985 and 1986 VHS tapes the other day with, you know, watching the roping with Paul Tierney and John W. Jones and O'Barron the Bulldog and Ricky Huddleston and all those guys, Wayne Herman with the McDonald chaps. And like you watch the old NFRs and like in the box, in the time of it in, there's just dudes like Duhan sitting on the back of the chute just with a white shirt, long sleeve shirt and a can of snuff in his pocket. He looks like he's at Slack, you know, and there's just people everywhere. And if you even go back further than that, like the old Oklahoma City videos, there's just dudes just standing like all over. And, you know, you think of the progression of the production. And so now it's so timed out. I don't think they have a sold out show that works. I don't see them taking a chance of bringing I would love to have the bullfights. I love the bullfights. Webster and I, when we first started rodeoing together and we got all these DVDs, that's all we did for like a week and a half was watch the old Wrangler bullfights. You know, this next man's fighting a bad one from the Harry Vold rodeo company called the Crooked Nose, you know?
Yeah.
And then the bulls would come out and they'd have the old do you know, the old band music, just good stuff. But I don't think it would happen at the NFR. I don't know if anybody wants to step out and take that chance.
What about Breakaway?
I think it'd be great in there. I really do. I love Breakaway, and I know that's a huge deal. I don't get on social media, but whole lot, but this hashtag ad breakaway movement, it's not really going to do anything until later on, I don't think, because, where they're set in with the LVE and the way they've already got it all planned out, I don't think anybody even with the NFR is really against it. But from what I've heard, that, it sounds pretty simple. Just add it in the perf. But then you got to think 4 sets of calves. So each set of calf, you got to have 5 extras a night. So, that's an additional 100 head of roping calves at the Thomas and Mack area. And each contestant has to have at least spots for 2 horses. So that's, 15 times, that's 30. So that's additional 30 horses and additional 100 calves. So the way that I understand it is that it's really not that anybody doesn't want the breakaway in there. It's just kind of logistical where everything's so tight also. Anyway. And like I said, I think it'd be great. I love breakaway roping. I'm a big fan.
I'm a fan of it too.
But I don't think that for right now, and plus, they want to get the added money, because it would look bad if they're like, hey, here's Shad Mayfield tonight. He won 33,000 in a round, and Jackie Crawford, she won her round and she wins 3,200.
Yeah,
I think that would kind of look bad. So I think if they got the money up eventually, I think it will be in the NFR. And like I said, there's so many of those breakaway roping girls that are just great people. Like Larry D. Guy, she's like one of my favorite people. Like I see her at those rodeos, and Kelsey Domer and Shelby, and there's just a JJ Hampton is one of my favorites. She's awesome. So after getting a rodeo around the breakaway girls, I'm like, man, I would love to have them at the finals, but I don't. That's way above my pay grade.
Yeah. They got to get them out of the Thomas and Mack and back to the casino to do some gambling.
Yeah. Like I said, I don't know how that all works. You hear rumors all the time, but you don't really ever know.
Yeah.
Like, well, we heard that if it's not done in 2 hours and 5 minutes, and I don't know. I've never been a part of that. So maybe it is, maybe it isn't.
How many kids you got now?
Well, just the same 3.
I thought it was 4.
No, just triplets. Yeah. So I was trying to tell them all we drove out for the first time this year since I'm working for Caesars Entertainment. And so since we homeschool and I'm working for Caesars, we got a suite at the Paris Hotel. And so we were driving out, and I was telling my kids all my stories about my years of coming out to the NFR, my whole NFR repertoire. They got tired of hearing about it, but, I first came out here when I was 6 years old with my dad. my being in the stock contracting business, we had bucking stock here until 2008. Dang. But I remember I was telling my kids I first came out here when I was 6 years old.
What year was that?
1986.
Wow.
And if you look in that corner on the right-hand delivery side where the Servies, the Butlers, the Volds, the Rumford seats are still there. So all those seats that were at Oklahoma City all transferred here. So we all still have our family seats. And I was telling my kids, I was like, man, this was magical. So to bring them out for the first time, it was...
Oh, this is their first time out here.
Well, they've been out here when they were little, but now that they're 12.
Yeah.
They were out here when they're like 3. Now that they're 12 and you step off, and like my kids are kind of, they're homeschooled kids, and I'm trying to raise them, where you don't have naked women walking around. And when you step off of the Paris, and first thing, this gal with boobs almost hanging completely out and a black G-string comes walking by, and Bandy's like, should you call the police? I'm like, no, this is just how people dress out here. So we got here Sunday, so it's been kind of a culture shock for my children that, like, we rodeo full time, but not like this. So,
right.
I've been trying to tell them, like, I've been coming out here for years. I came out as a truck driver. I've been out here for 2 years. I helped Frank Thompson and Birch Nagard, Jess Tierney, and I took care of their bulldogging horses and clean stalls, exercise, saddled, and we'd take them up the alley. We did all that. Worked the NFR as a clown, done the watch parties. So I've been telling them all. They got pretty tired of my stories, but I was like, man, while I was out here, it was pretty cool thinking of all the times I've spent in Vegas, over the hundreds of years, it seems like.
Anything wild?
Oh, yeah. I was telling Jesse Knutson the other day about it. When I thought that the best thing that ever happened to me was the year I drove out for Benny. And when Benny Butler loves the NFR more than anybody I've ever seen. I mean, Benny loves the NFR, loves everything about it. He loves the getting ready process. He loves the getting here, like everything about it. So like when we used to get ready to go from the Butler Ranch, like we get to Benny's place, man, he'd have this semi like totally decked out and so clean and like all ready and all their stuff packed. And so Mark Browning and I drove it out one year and I remember I made a mix CD like, and the first song on it was Youth Gone Wild by Skid Row. And then I had Big City Nights by Scorpions, and I'm driving this semi on I-40 and we had a lot of horses there this year. We probably had like 15 bucking horses. And then we had 6 bulls. And I'm like, dude, I cannot believe I'm driving Benny Butler's semi to Vegas. And we got it here and unloaded, hit the chute, and we left on Thanksgiving Day. And so like Friday morning, I unloaded. I'm like, I can't believe that I'm here doing this. Like, I felt like that life could not have got any better. And so that's when the Gold Coast was here. Yeah. The Gold Coast was the only thing. Yeah. It was the deal. Like, the Gold Coast is the original South Point, you know. But everybody, there wasn't watch parties and stuff and all this. There wasn't so spread out. Like, everybody went to the Gold Coast. So like Benny told me, he said, well, I'll get you a room at the Gold Coast. I'm like, oh, I'll figure it out. Don't worry about it. So like all the stock contractors used to park their trucks at the Gold Coast. Like, that's where you unloaded. You took your truck over there. So everybody would have their trucks all shined up and parked on the end there.
What year is this?
I think it was maybe 2003, I think.
Okay.
Maybe 2. But anyhow, so I was parked there. I'm like, man, I'm just going to stay in this semi. So I just stayed in the sleeper for like 3 weeks. But like, I'd come in, all my friends were there, just drink beer and take showers in their room. And just, I don't even know if I left the Gold Coast for like 4 days. And it was just magical. They just had like a quarter mile of just stock tanks full of beer. And it was $2. You know, there wasn't Facebook back then. So like nobody, if you seen somebody, you didn't know what they were doing. So like you could bump into friends and visit forever. It wasn't like they're, you know, it was freaking magical. Like the early 2000s, the Gold Coast, when they come out with the Gold Coast vests, which, you know, now South Point and everybody's kind of got their spinoffs. But if you had a Gold Coast vest there for a while, like you were something else.
Yeah.
And Benny I had a Gold Coast vest that said Butler and Son on it. And I was like, dude, my rodeo, like, I will never do better than this in life.
Right.
And I did. I'd come into the casino and I had this trick because I didn't really have a lot of cash, because as much as I love the Butlers, you know, stock contract is not like a huge paying job. But I figured out this trick on how to get free beer. And like, I don't drink anymore, but in my early 20s. But so everyone's like, how are you? Everyone said, how do you stay boozed up all the time when you have no money? So I told them this trick. So I go in there and see a bunch of people like, hey, what's up, Rump? I'm like, what's going on? They're like, let's go to the bar. Let's go to the bar. Oh, no, I ain't going. Oh, come on. I said, I had too much yesterday. I ain't drinking for a few days. And they'd say, bull crap, we're out here. You're drinking. Get him a beer. I'm like, I ain't drinking it. They said, bullshit, we're going to buy you a beer. And so like the more I'd say, hey, I don't want any more beer. They'd be like, get another bucket. And then people would just buy me drinks. Like, I bet I didn't spend any money one time for like 4 days.
Just saying no.
Well, yeah, I would tell them no. And then there was this cafe, this little cafe in the Gold Coast. And I'd go in there and with a large crowd, and I would never order anything, but like, you go in there at midnight, they had a special from like steak and eggs from like midnight till 6. It was like $3. And so like I'd wait for my friends. They would throw down a tip of like $5 because they'd be drunk. And then I'd just grab the $5 and go sit at another table and order. So like it sounds crappy, but I did that. Like I just hung at the Gold Coast. And then when I was out with Frank, we stayed at the Flamingo and that was earlier. That's when I was still trying to be a steer wrestler. But, you know, over the years, like I feel like these kids, I was trying to tell them about, the Gold Coast. They're like, what about it? Does anybody even go there? I'm like, oh my gosh, it used to be magical because there was nowhere else to go. Well, there was, but that was the deal. Do you remember? Did you?
I spent some time at the Gold Coast those first couple of years.
They had national finals tonight with Donnie Gay and
Stace would have his parties there.
Yeah, they did the buckle ceremonies there. Like everything was at the Gold Coast.
Yeah, did they tear it down?
No, it's still there. But it's
just not where the vibe is.
No,
there
Michael going to South Point, it's rocking. So they,
whenever the first time I came out here was 2011 with Jacobs when he made his first NFR, and the party was really the MGM. We went to the Gold Coast a bunch, but the MGM seemed like that's where the spot was, and then it felt like it migrated over to the Mirage.
Yeah. Rodeo Vegas was at the Mirage for a long time, and it was, it was huge. So I mean, things move around, but if you find the older people that are maybe even a little bit older than me, there was a bar where everybody went called the Beach. Did you ever hear the Beach?
No, I've not heard of the Beach.
It was like all the contestants used to go, and then it was just
where at the Gold Coast.
No, it was off. I don't even know where it was now, but it was like, man, you go into the Beach, and I couldn't ever get in, but like one of my other favorite stories, I went to the Beach, I got thrown out, and I went back to the Gold Coast. This is even before the Benny Butler days, and I wasn't old enough to buy beer, and I told John Payne, the one-armed bandit, that I forgot my ID, and I was like, hey, could you buy me a beer? And he went and bought, I told him to buy Keystone, and he come back with 2 cases of Budweiser. And he's like, you can pay me back. And I never did, but I was like, oh man, this is so cool. Like John Payne just bought me beer. So, I mean,
yeah, it's good that you knew that you were in the good old days during the good old days.
Yeah. They were fun. Like the South Point's cool. And there's a lot of cool things with the NFR, but like nostalgically, I just think that
But I mean, like back in those times, like you backing up to the shoot with Benny's, like you knew that was just an awesome point in your life during that time of your life.
I did. And
you didn't have to think back to it later on.
No. And like I've said on your podcast before, Benny kind of saved me, from, I was wanting to quit rodeo and go home and, at North Platte, when he's like, no, you're going to come work for me. And so over the years, like my dad, he drove out Benny's truck this year. And
oh, that's cool.
And Benny's like, you don't want to ride? I'm like, no, I'm taking my kids, or I would, but at the time, when your life is all about horses and bulls, I mean, it was just magical to like be headed to the NFR with a straight deck and a 379 Peterbilt and some rock and roll music.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
It was awesome. And I still, I still go help, I help championship rodeo quite a bit, on some of them. Like when I go back to the world's toughest rodeos, a couple years ago, I forgot to buy a plane ticket. And, so I was telling Will O'Connell, like, man, I'm going to have to spend $1,200 on this plane ticket because I got to go to Winston-Salem. And he goes, well, I'm sending a load of horses. And he goes, tell you what, you drive the semi out there and I'll give you a few bucks. I was like, sure. So like I put my clown barrel in the back of the back cut of the floor trailer and drove the semi out there. So like, that's a feeling that doesn't get old. It's just something about when you run the bucking horses on and you're driving down the road about 80 mile an hour and you can see the hair coming, their tails flapping in the wind.
There's nothing like it.
It's so cool. Like there's a lot of cool things, but like I used to like, when I'd pull in to get fuel and people like, man, are those horses? I'm like, yeah. They'd be like, are those yours? I'm like, yeah, they are. They are. 100%. Those are mine.
That's like that's one hack at getting JB to show up at events is have him haul stock and he'll hook onto a straight deck and take bucking bulls. Like it's and I say that just to say that like it's a very nostalgic thing for rodeo cowboys. Like I've told the guys that if I win the lottery, the only way you'll know is because there'll be a straight deck park. I mean, I don't even have the truck for it yet, but I'm going to get the straight deck and park it at my place. But it'll be slats
Yeah.
Not the bubbles. I like the slats.
I have seen your stuff before when you had a Snapchat at the sale barn with a brand new slat-sided Wilson. And Frontier has one of those.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's so old school, and I guess that's what my dad drove, so that's what made me.
Yeah, but you know that the old rodeo photos are so cool, like, and that's why I wish there was more pictures, because, you know, years ago in the early 2000s, like, you knew somebody's truck, you know, like Diamond G still does it. Like when you see a Diamond G truck, like it says Diamond G Rodeos all across the top of the truck, and then on the back, you know, it says follow us to our next exciting PRC rodeo. If you see the Flying U trucks, you know, on the side loads, the whole back was Flying U Rodeo, America's #1 sport, you know, and you'd see these trucks and you knew right away that, oh, that's a rodeo truck.
Yeah. Pete Carr's got a cool straight deck.
Yeah. Yeah. Pete's got a bunch of good trucks. And you know, they used to even have like a stock contractor truck show when I was little. So like,
oh, really?
Everybody would, you know, try
Bad Company have a cool one?
Yeah. They had that blue truck. I don't know if you've seen it. It's in some of their ads. They had that blue long-nosed Kenworth.
Yeah.
That had a custom license plate that said Badco on it.
Dang.
Yeah. They had red Peterbilts, and, you know, all down the side, they had them huge deals that said expect the unexpected.
Yeah.
And, you know, when they had Hi-O Silver, you know, their big advertisements, so like when they rolled into town, like you knew it. And that's one thing I always liked about Pete, and Stace Smith does it great too. Like when I was at Lufkin, I got the Lufkin a couple days early, and when Stace comes rolling in, you're like, dang, they're here.
Yeah.
And so Benny's always done that too. He's always wanted his trucks. He gets them painted just alike, and, you know, makes them look nice. And so when these guys can roll up, you're like, wow, this is not just like, not circus people, but it's not like you're rolling up with
we're professionals now.
You're not rolling up with a tilt twirl, you know?
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, I will always cherish those days. I still like trucking. I keep my CDL up just in case I ever do get to trucking.
I just don't like dealing with timed event stock. It's far less romantic.
You know, anymore though, all these contractors, that's a whole separate deal. Like nobody even really hires or hauls their own time event stock anymore. So like all these contractors, they're, you know, like especially in Texas. So Marty Yates' dad, you know, he's got a ton of calves, and so, you know, hey, can you bring the calves? So they pretty much truck it in separate. So all the rodeo stock's coming in, and people will like show up to watch the stock be unloaded. Like mostly drunk people. I don't know why that is, but you pull up to a rodeo at midnight, you're going to have those certain rodeo committee guys out there like doing the thing, but they do it wrong. They're not really paying attention. So you're like looking in your mirror, and they're right here, and you're like, bam, hit the chute, and everything about falls down. And then they go like that once you've already hit it, you know, and but I just love it. Like if I have a picture of Birch's semi, have you seen the Birch ride? It's a stretched out Black Pete. They call Flame. It's wild. It's got bullhorn tips for all the toggle switches, and it says Adeline Equine on the sleeper, and, you know, so there's a lot of those guys have had the cool looks over the years in my trucking days.
Yeah. What's been some exciting moments this year for you?
Well, this year's been really good. We started off in January at Odessa. So that's one kind of the hard part of rodeo. And I feel like sometimes like we all want to work for the NFR, and, you know, you get to the NFR and it's fun and it's great. And then the NFR gets over and you're like, yes, it's Christmas, and you get home, and then Christmas gets over, and then it's like, well, we got a week and a half, because then we start back up. And, you know, when I was at Denver, starting the 1st of January, Odessa the 1st of January, now with the world's toughest rodeo, with, you know, St. Paul and Raleigh and Winston, and starting right in January, there's not really any downtime, you know, per se. So, but like we rodeo with the whole family since we've been homeschooling. We took off and went. We've had a great year. I've made a goal. Like I've somehow every year lately, I've found a way to hurt myself. Like
What do you mean? What happened?
Well, like with the blowing my knee out a couple years ago,
Yeah.
and then when I got hooked at the college finals, I was like, I just want to get through the year and not have any major injuries. So made it through the whole year doing that. I didn't get attacked by any big ladies this year, which
Yeah.
was great. I had a pretty good rodeo year. I rodeoed. I did 172 performances from January until like 2 weeks ago. I ended up at Brawley, California for the cattle call, the last one of the year. But I did a monster truck show as an entertainer.
Yeah.
A tractor pull, which was actually pretty fun. Did those in California at Gridley for Reno Rosser. Got me the job. So I got to do a couple different things this year, which was pretty awesome. So it's next year I booked. I've got 4 PBR events for the first time. I've never worked for the PBR. And Flint got me in there. So I'm going to be doing some entertaining but different. I'm going to be like dressed in just normal clothes, but in the stands with microphone and getting to do some stuff. So I'm really excited about that. It's going to be fun because I've been rodeoing pretty hard since about 2011 as a rodeo clown. So it's going to be fun to get out of the rodeo setting and go to the PBR side of things. So
Dang.
pretty pumped about that.
How many do you have lined up?
I have 4. I have 2 of the Unleash the Beast. I got Bridgeport, Connecticut, and Little Rock, Unleash the Beast. And then I got Reno, Nevada, and Grand Rapids, Michigan, Velocities. So I'm really looking forward to doing something different because I love rodeoing, but at the same time, it kind of gets a little monotonous.
Yeah.
I'm sure everybody that watches at home says the same thing, but it's going to be fun to do something different and not be in a rodeo clown outfit, to be doing a lot of the same stuff, but without just a normal look.
It seems like the PBR crowd, though, gets super loyal.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I mean, I could see you gaining the love of that, which the fans seem like a different set of fans.
Yeah, I've never really been around it, believe it or not. When the PBR first started, when we were taking bulls, was when I was in high school.
Yeah.
But besides that, I've never really been around. I never have been really asked to be a part of it. But, Flint Rasmussen is just the god of all clowning and PBR. He's such a good friend. He's like, do you want to come work some of those? And I was like, I would love to do that,
I'd like to try me some of that.
Plus, my February opened up as I was uninvited to go back to San Antonio. So that gave me
Why?
Well, they wanted to switch, which is fine. A lot of rodeos do switch, but it was just kind of weird. They didn't tell me until July. And so it was a kind of a last minute switcheroo. But so God had it planned because as soon as they said, well, we're going to switch at San Antonio, I was like, oh, okay. I'm like, well, that opens up the whole month of February. And then Flint and Luke Coughlin were like, I was talking to them and they're like, well, what are you doing in February? You got San Antonio. I'm like, no, I don't. They're like, you're in luck.
Dang.
So it picked right back
sucks.
up.
I get excited to see you in San Antonio.
Which,
That's silly.
I've been there for 7 years. I get it. It's time to switch, but.
Well, from what I hear, the PBRs, like you probably go to one or 2 weekends of those.
I heard that they hate that you come and you sneak in. They have told me that.
There was one guy, and that was one time.
Do you really flash your badge to let them know, like even when you're in there legally? Like,
I've only been in there illegally one time before, and they did not like it.
But like, I was a diehard PBR fan for the longest time too. Like back, way back in the day.
It was super funny though. Whenever what you're referring to, the 2 years that they fake kicked me out. The first year, I was picking up at the ranch rodeo. I'll be specific, and when they fake kicked me out, they sold it and they got me. Did you? I mean,
I did see that video.
Yeah.
I've also seen the fake video of when Webster had you pulled over.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, he got me there too.
They got you good there.
Yeah, Webb just had to be a part of it again. Yeah, they sold it. That was a real cop both times. Those real cops are really good at being mean.
Well, and the thing is too, when somebody pulls a joke on you like that, and you think it's a joke, and you think, I'm going to do this, but then you think, what if it's not a joke?
Exactly.
Because if it's not a joke, then I really will go to jail.
Right.
So those are always tough. I've been
how
a
do
part
I
of
act?
those. Yeah.
How do I act in case it's real? How do I act so that I'm not just a jerk?
Like, I've been there because okay, I'm pretty sure this is a joke, and then they start being really real, and I'm like,
I bet people do it to you all the time.
oh yeah,
At rodeos, like committees will get together, like, we're gonna get Rump.
Oh, they do. They do all the time. Everybody's always messing with me. Like that's why I get so nervous at all these. So when I saw those videos, I was like, thank goodness it happens to somebody else besides me.
Yeah.
But the one time that it really backfired, we at Odessa a long time ago, the first year I worked Odessa, was also Nathan Harp, his first year to fight bulls at it.
Yeah.
And the sheriff, he was on the rodeo committee, and he was pretty wild. And so he said, what about the new bullfighter? Because I forget I think he took Corey Wall's place. And he's like, what about this new bullfighter? You want me to mess with him? I was like, yeah. So this sheriff comes in there and gets Nathan Harp. Nathan Harp is the nicest guy in the world. Would never do anything wrong. And he handcuffs Harp to a toilet. And if you've ever been in the Ector County Coliseum back room, you don't even really want to sit on the toilet, let alone. So he handcuffed Harp where the cuffs are underneath like the pipe. So he handcuffs Harp to the toilet, and we're all laughing. Me and Tucker are like, okay. So he's like, okay.
But told him it was a joke, and he just got him handcuffed, or Harp thought it was for real?
Well, no, he knew it was a joke, but that guy's like, when the sheriff came in, he's like, oh, I got to get you. And, Harp wouldn't pull back. He's like, first timers, you got to do something. So he chains him or handcuffs him to the deal. And so everybody's kind of laughing. And I'm thinking, here in a minute, he's going to like pull out the key and let Harp go. But he doesn't. And he just leaves. Like the sheriff leaves. And so it's the bareback riding. And we're like, he is chained to this toilet.
Yeah.
And he's like, Rump. I'm like, what? I did not know he was going to leave. And so Tucker's like, you got to go find him. We didn't get him away from that toilet until about the end of the team roping.
Oh, wow.
So he was about an hour and maybe 25 minutes handcuffed to the toilet. And so we finally found, I'm trying to clown, and Tuckness is like, hey. So I finally found the sheriff. I'm like, hey, you got to undo him. He's like, oh, yeah, yep, sorry about that. I'm like, so he goes in there and lets Harp loose. And I'm like, and Harp, he was pretty mad at me. But I thought when he was talking about hazing, it would be something kind of funny. But I didn't realize the handcuffing to the toilet from the bareback riding to the team rope. And like,
were you in there when Boyd and Hambone pranked all of us at Sykeston?
That was the year before I got to Sykeston. But I also saw that video.
Yeah. Randy videoed that. It was like 8 minutes of just awkward arguing, and we all thought it was completely real. And Boyd, and when they started, like it was the production meeting, and it's just light chirping at the beginning, and they just set it up perfectly, and Hambone like kind of led Boyd into being mad. And then Boyd kind of gets him. Boyd kind of snaps at him. And then finally, like, Hambone, Hambone. Yeah, that's who it was. Hambone, like, throws his pen down or something, and they both stand up. And the whole committee, I think there might have been, like, one person in on it. Obviously, Randy, because he was filming. But of the 20 committee people in there, we were all just, like, watching Boyd about to just, like, body slam Hambone. They sold it, and it's on my YouTube. It's a great video, but it was hilarious.
And the thing is, there's a lot of times like
that one's pretty innocent because nobody was there to get hurt.
But it's funny to see because I remember that video. Like the people that like D Bizzle and some of those guys you think would jump up and be like, "Hey, settle down!" Like they were just sitting in these chairs. Like you think what would happen in one of those situations, and it didn't.
Yeah,
nobody tried to break it up. Like. And it makes you think, after it's all said and done, you're like, oh, man, that was funny. What would you have done if there was punches being thrown? Because nobody stood up. Right. Nobody got in the action.
Yeah.
But see, that's like Chuck Swisher. That's why you can't play a joke on him because if you play a little joke on him, like you hit him in the nuts or do something funny and you're like, ha, ha, ha. And then the next thing you know, like he takes the wheels off your truck and sells them at a pawn shop. Like he always just goes too far.
The punch back
And
is
so
way
that's
too
why
severe.
I worry about like some of those pranks like that, you know,
Yeah.
because everybody does it to me. And then when I think, man, I'm going to retaliate, then, you know, then it doesn't happen the same way. And then something bad happens to me. So like, and everybody in rodeo is always trying to play a joke. Like everybody's always, I tried to play a joke one year on my buddy, and that's when we were at the Orleans. And so I was going to hire a hooker, not to have sex, but I actually found this hooker, and she's a super nice lady. But I was like, I just need you to go up and knock on this door and ask for payment from last night. Because my friend, I'm not going to say his name, but him and his wife were out there. And I thought this would be a hilarious joke. So, you know, if you've been to the Orleans, you can meet a hooker every 15 steps. And so I've never tried to buy a hooker, but they're pretty easy to meet, like I said. So she's like, you know, I'm like, look, I got $100. And it wasn't even my 100. I borrowed it from Hambone. But anyhow, I was like, all you got to do is just go up to this room and knock on the door. And when they answer, be like, hey, you need to finish paying me from last night. She's like, sure, you know. So we're, you know, kind of doing the deal. And I go to pull out money, and this cop comes over and make a long story short, I almost got arrested for trying to buy a prostitute, which you can't in the casino lobby. Even though nothing was going to happen, I was trying to explain to him. I'm like, no, it was a joke. And he's like, okay, you know, like, and it all worked out because nothing happened, but that's kind of the way it goes for my practical jokes. You know, the other joke that really backfired on me, there's this awesome rodeo joke. Awesome. Probably one of the best ever. So everybody that stays in campers knows.
You can tell it on our podcast.
Oh, I'm going to. Everybody that knows, if you stay in trailers all the time, on your gray water, on your RV, they usually let it leak out on the ground. It's just your shower water. Because most of the time you're parked in grass and dirt lots. A lot of those people have one of those like clamp-on deals where they hook a hose to it, like just like a water hose, and they will let it run over the grass. But what you can do is take that cap, cover the black tank valve where all your poop water comes out, and you put that cap on there and you hook that hose up to a water source. When you turn on the water, it pressurizes your black tank. So when you go in there to pee and you step down on your toilet to let the pee go down, it explodes from the back pressure from the water. I did that once. And the guy who I was pranking wasn't in there. His wife was.
Who was it?
She was pissed. I'm not going to say because I know you guys won't edit it out.
We will. We will. We did last time.
Her name was Jane Doe. And, but if anybody ever wants to use that's a golden joke right there. The old backwards black tank flush. That was always.
I thought you were going to say like a joke that you told on the microphone.
No.
Yeah.
But yeah, Chuck, when we worked the NFR that year, I had gold paint, like spray paint, because, you know, with the Coors barrel, I had it all wrapped with the tape, and I took this gold paint and kind of made it look a little shinier. And like before the rodeos, before Perf #1, I had bought these brand new black Nikes, like Air Maxes. They were so cool. And so I did something to Chuck and just kind of joking around. And so right before the rodeo, I was like, man, I kind of need to go take a dump. So I'm sitting in there in this stall right before the rodeo with these brand new Nikes on. And this stall is like this wide, you know, and so my foot's kind of sticking out. And Chuck took that gold paint and painted the tip of my black Nike gold.
Ooh.
Yeah. So
that hurt your feelings, didn't it?
Yeah. Because in all my NFR pictures, everyone's like, what's wrong with that picture? What's on your right foot? I'm like, it's paint. I was taking a dump and Chuck painted it. So.
Yeah, if somebody did that to my Jordans, I wouldn't be happy either.
No. And then I gave those shoes. I left them in the Thomas and Mack.
Yeah, just donated them.
I was giving to the rodeo gods.
Do you ever partake in the 11th round?
No, I never did. I never did that, but it's I love watching the Snapchats from it, but like it gets violent.
Yeah,
a lot of people don't know. Have you told them what the 11th round is?
No, I don't think I've ever talked about it. Maybe I have on one with somebody, but essentially it's the Bronc Riders and Ruffies all basically throw a party in the locker room.
Which is the dumbest thing.
But wrestling matches, they have like extreme wrestling matches.
The dumbest thing about the whole NFR for the contestants is after 10 days of getting on the rankest stock in the world and beating up your body and doing all this stuff, then after the 10th round, they beat the crap out of each other.
Yeah.
I mean, it is violent.
Yeah.
Like, that's why I bounced out, because I don't want to get involved in that. But like these guys, they will literally fight. I mean, box, slam. I seen a video of Cody Kidd. I don't even know where he fell off of.
Yeah, he referees a bunch of it, doesn't he?
Yeah, but he fell off onto a table, like out of the air in this Snapchat. Like Brent Sutton, he snapped it to me, and like people, Webster and Tuck, they went to wrestle, and it's not like cute little fun. Hey, this is hilarious. I'm talking about like trying to kill each other.
Yeah.
They had these two Australians last year that would get on opposite sides. I don't even know where they come from. And then they were the ones that were just taking off and running into each other as hard as they could.
Oof.
And everybody's throwing beer. Tilden that one year had that buffalo, like that jock strap that had buffalo hide on the front. And that's all he was wearing. Like it's
or at least we think.
Yeah. Shane O'Connell one year when he made the NFR, that was the best Snapchat ever. Was he had a snap of him leaving the locker room at 4:30 on Sunday morning after the 10th round. Both of his eyes were about swelled shut, and he's bleeding. He's just happy as can be.
Ooh.
But
Yeah.
I don't want any of that. I'm a lover.
Yeah. That would be rough. Just the stories alone make me cringe.
Yeah.
What who are the pickup men? Taos is one of them.
I think Tyler Kraft and
Is it Tyler?
Matt Twitchell.
Oh, what did Taos get?
I think Taos he's up for Pickup Man of the Year.
Oh, that's what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like everybody goes, even if you don't want to wrestle in the 11th round, you still like, they will make you. They like,
Oh, yeah. The
Wade Sankey, Wade Sankey had to wrestle Chase Richter. So, yeah, like, and Chase is like 7 foot tall.
Yeah.
But I think Wade kicked his ass, if I remember right. But like some of those things, I feel like that at some point they're going to leave that 11th round and lose a friendship. It's like, it's so violent.
I bet it's already happened.
Like, you know how cool that'd be to walk in with one of your buddies that does the MMA and be like, oh, here comes Rump for the 11th round. And I'm like, and then this MMA guy swings around the corner and be like,
Yeah.
not today, boys.
Yeah,
not
not
up
today.
in here.
Yeah, I've got Cheeto Vera with me. Yeah.
Yes.
So you out here the whole time?
Yeah, I'm out here working for Caesars
Oh, yeah, you said
Entertainment, which is my first year working for them. The Caesars they own 8 properties in Vegas now, and so we're doing the watch parties out here. I first did my first watch party in 2015. So in 2015, before you could have Cinch in the arena, like I signed with Cinch in 2012, and my first year with the card, and they've been phenomenal to me. And so I got the NFR in 2014, and it was amazing. Then 2015, I got the alternate, and I was like pretty bummed, and I'm like, yeah, it's all good, you know. So the alternate barrel man for the NFR, for everybody that doesn't know, you get $2,500 and a jacket. Okay. You don't do anything else. You don't get a contract. You don't get a ticket. You don't do anything because you're not going to use the backup barrel man. I mean,
Right.
it's not
Do
going
you
to
get a
happen.
place to stay?
What?
Do you get a place to stay?
No. You get a jacket and $2,500.
Whoa.
You don't get a room. You have nothing to do with the rodeo. But the thing of it is, years ago, the backup barrel man used to suit up and stand in the corner.
Oh my god.
Did you know that?
I knew the bullfighter did.
The backup barrel man used to suit up. If you watch the old NFRs, you look in the corner, you will see that. So
Good
one year,
heavens.
Keith Isley's like, look, I'm not going to suit up and stand in the corner. I'm going to go home. If you need me, I'll be there.
Yeah.
You know? So he left. So he started a new deal. So the alternate barrel man didn't do anything. You know, and we wouldn't want to. We don't want nothing to happen to our friends. So I got $2,500 in a jacket, right? Well, that was the first year that Boyd Gaming decided to do the Boyd Gaming shootout at the Orleans Arena. Do you remember that?
Yes.
So it was going to be on the last weekend, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So they took 16 through 25. So if you didn't make the finals, but you're still in the top 25, they had, and it paid good. It was like $25,000, $30,000 added.
Yeah. Where was it?
At the Orleans Arena.
Yeah. It was one of the first things like not at South Point.
Yeah.
That was outside of the NFR.
It was the Boyd Gaming Shootout Rodeo by Cinch. Now remember, Cinch wasn't allowed in the arena. If you wore Cinch in the arena in 2015,
yeah, you get fined.
You got fined $1,000. Like you had to have it. You couldn't even cover it up. Like you could not have it. They were super against Cinch. I mean, it was a whole ordeal, like, which was just stupid because here you have a company that's trying to put in a ton of money into rodeo and you're going, nope, we can't do that. You know?
Yeah.
It was pretty stupid. But so anyhow, before this whole deal goes down, I find out I'm going to be the alternate. Rory Limmel has been amazing to me. My career has just, Rory has helped me out.
Yeah, he's the man.
So much. And he calls me a dumb constantly.
He's the one that hired me for Stace fighting.
Yeah. He's
for Stace.
Always making fun of me and telling me how dumb I am, but I just love him to death because he's helped me out so much. But so I don't get it. I'm in Cow Palace in California. And the worst thing about being the alternate barrel man in the NFR or bullfighting is they call and tell you at like 6:30 on a Saturday. So there's 2 rounds of voting. So you have first week, hey, you get a phone call from the PRCA. Guess what? You're in our top 5 for the barrel man for the NFR. Okay, this is on Monday. We will tell you in 2 weeks if you get it. So then for 2 weeks you wait. Then on Saturday night, right before the rodeo, hello? Yes. Is this Justin Rumford? Yes, it is. Hey, this is Shelly from the PRCA. We're calling to let you know that you've been selected for the Wrangler. Oh my goodness, I did it. Hold on, sir. As the alternate barrel man. Oh, crap. This really sucks. And then 5 minutes later, you're a rodeo clown, the most fun guy ever, Justin Rumford. Hey, everybody. Life sucks. So this is on Saturday. So anyhow, Sunday morning, Rory Limmel calls and he goes, hey, don't worry about the NFR. He said, I'm going to hire you to be the rodeo clown for the Boyd Gaming Shootout. And he said, I got this idea. He said, there was only one watch party at the time, and it wasn't even really a watch party. It was the one that Dodge did at South Point.
Uh-huh.
Anthony Lucia hosted it. There wasn't, every casino didn't have a watch party 10 years ago. So he's like, we're going to have you host a watch party. So don't worry about the NFR. He's like, we're going to rent a room out.
Dude, I remember this.
And he says, then the last weekend is the Boyd Gaming Shootout, and you'll clown it. So they would take all the stock contractors, all the PRCA stock contractors, they would haul stuff out for the NFR, and then they would have their other stuff that didn't quite get to the NFR. They bucked it over there. So we had 22 stock contractors for a 3-perf rodeo, but it was all the main guys. So the bullfighters that didn't get the NFR were Nathan Justice, Nathan Harp, and Chuck. Well, they were the bullfighters for the Boyd Gaming Shootout. I was the alternate barrel man. I was the barrel man for the Boyd Gaming Shootout. Matt Twitchell and Bobby Marriott, they were in the top 5 but didn't get the deal to pick up. They were there working the Boyd Gaming Shootout. Bob Tallman and Roger Mooney announced the Boyd Gaming Shootout. Hambone did the Boyd Gaming Shootout. Okay. So I release on this October, the Monday after I find out, I release this deal on Facebook that says, you know what? I'm pretty bummed I didn't get the finals, but congratulations to my great friend, John Harrison, on him. But hey, don't worry. If you're coming to Vegas, I will be rodeo clowning the Boyd Gaming Shootout. So I released this in October. Okay. One of the people that likes the comment was our rodeo clown and bullfighter director, Dusty Brewer. He sees in October that I'm going to work this event. So I don't think anything about it. I'm the alternate. You know, you don't sign a contract for the alternate barrel man. There's nothing. So I get out here in 2015 for the finals, and I go get my check for $2,500 and my coat. And I get a phone call from Dustin Brewer. And he said, you're going to have to decide if you want to be the alternate or work the cinch shootout because you can't do both. I said, what do you mean? He said, you have to choose one or the other. And I said, why? And he said, well, it's a breach of your contract because if you're part of the NFR, you can't work any other event. And I'm like, I'm not working for the NFR. He says, you're the alternate. I said, there's no contract. He said, it doesn't matter. And I said, well, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to remain the alternate for the first 7 performances. And then if I'm not used by then I'll work the cinch, the Boyd Gaming Shootout. Can't do it. I said, why? He said, you just can't. I'm like, well, I am. So I said, I'm not breaching any contract. There is no contract to be breached.
Yeah.
And he goes, by accepting the check and the jacket, you're accepting the terms and conditions. And I said, I'm not accepting nothing. And he's like, well, he's stupid. I don't care if he hears this. So yeah, don't edit that out. So then anyhow, about an hour later, I get a phone call from the PRCA from Aaron Ingot. And Aaron's like, hey, Rump, bad news, man. You got to pick. And I said, how am I? And he's like, that's a competing event. I said, it's not a competing event. It's from 1 o'clock until, 2:30, 3 days of the whole NFR. And I said, everybody there has stock at the NFR. I said, your next bullfighters are there. And I said, everybody that's at the Boyd Gaming Shootout is literally involved with the NFR. And I said, how is that a conflict of interest? I said, Boyd Gaming is on the ribbon board. That rodeo during the afternoon is literally being advertised in the Thomas and Mack. Because Boyd Gaming, who owns the Orleans Hotel and Casino, was one of the biggest sponsors for the rodeo. So how is it a conflicting event? Well, it's sponsored by Cinch. I'm like, it doesn't matter. I said, I don't have to pick. Well, you're going to be in violation. I said, I'm not. So I go up there to this meeting, the Rodeo Clown and Bullfighter meeting, which is just stupid and pointless. That's why I haven't gone in 10 years. It was today at 10:30. I did not make it. So anyhow, I'm walking down through the casino with my wife. The coach says my name on it. And I walk upon Dustin Brewer and Aaron Ingot and some other lady, I don't know. They're like, you have to give us the coat back. I'm like, I was like, what? And I had the check in the pocket and they're like, you made your choice. You're going with a conflicting. I'm like, show me in paper where I've done anything. Well, just, we want it back. Like you've made your decision. And I was like, I said, this is so stupid. And I was shaking. Like, I'm the kind of guy that when I get mad at, like, I kind of start crying, even though like I'm not trying to be like a chick, but like I get really mad. Let me tell you something. Like I can't stop it. I think a lot of guys actually have that, but they just, and I was like, this is stupid. I'm like, I can't believe you're doing this. Like, well, so because our director, Dustin Brewer, I'm like, why aren't you telling the PRCA, hey, no, you can't do this to this guy. He's done nothing wrong. Now, I would have understood if I was the barrel man for the NFR, I couldn't work that during the afternoon.
Yeah, for sure.
I understand the rules.
Yeah.
I went to Northwestern Oklahoma State University. I got a very good GPA. I'm not dumb. But so anyhow, I take off the coat and I tried to keep the check. And they're like, nope, you got to give the check back too. So I had to hand them. It had my name on it.
Yeah.
It said Justin Rumford embroidered. And they would not let me keep the alternate barrel man jacket.
Golly.
So I handed back my check and the jacket. And like I said, I was pretty teared up. So I called Rory and I told him, and he was pretty mad about it. 10 minutes later, I get a phone call from David Dean, who owns Cinch. And he happened to be in Las Vegas. And he's like, hey, meet me at the South Point in 20 minutes. I'm like, all right, cool. So I meet David, he hands me a personal check for $5,000.
Dang.
And he said, thank you for putting up with that. And he said, you're on our team. And I'm like, man, this is great. So
yeah, that's cool.
I went and did the watch party. And the watch party was awesome. tons of people. Man, I'd get on the mic. What's up, everybody? Come on in. We got seats up here. It's Rump's watch party. We give away like buffets and, you know, free beer, and just, it was so much fun. So after I did that first year, as much as I love the NFR, I was like, I never applied for it ever again. That 2015 was the last year that I put in to work the NFR. So ever since then, I've said, you know what, when I go to the NFR in Vegas, it's for watch parties. And so with Caesars, you know, I was with Resorts World for the last 3 years. Now with Caesars, it's awesome because I get to do the watch parties. I don't have to worry about going to dumb meetings and do all that stuff. And so the watch party deal, now there's tons of watch parties, and it's grown, but like I'm where I want to be during the NFR.
Sure.
I love the people, get to see everybody. You don't have to get hit by bulls. You don't have 5 o'clock meetings. You don't have to take dumps and have your shoes painted gold. Like, there's just tons of benefits.
Oh, I remember that being a big deal, the cinch shootout. I remember it like, man, there's something else going on in Vegas during the NFR. I mean, there's always stuff at the South Point, it seems like, but just outside of that arena.
Oh, well, actually, I got to add more onto that story. So when I turned down the position of the alternate, they dropped down to the next guy, who was Cody Sosby. Okay.
Oh, okay.
So Sosby, he goes to get it. Well, he's working Stace's Bronc match, right? They wouldn't let him be the alternate either.
Dang.
Because they said, well, if we told Justin that he can't work another event, then he can't work another event. So then Sosby had to turn his stuff back in.
Dang.
Because remember when Stace had that Bronc
Right, yeah,
match
of
during the
course.
middle of the week? So,
Yeah, for charity.
So I don't even know who's the alternate at the end of the year that year, but
Yeah.
so it was a whole wild story, but you know, it's God's timing and it all worked out, and I feel great now. So
Yeah.
and I never got the jacket back, and I wanted to know what happened. What are you going to do with a 3X jacket that says alternate barrel man, Justin Rumford? You ever see those ads for like third world countries where they're wearing like T-shirts say Dallas
That's
Cowboys
where it
Super
is.
Bowls champs? I'm wondering if like Ethiopia, there's some fat Ethiopian, if there are those, wearing around an NFR coat with my name on it.
Yeah. Huh.
But I feel like I'm validated in saying that.
Yeah. Makes you feel better.
Yeah. So
Corporate. It sounds corporate.
yeah,
Too corporate.
and I love the PRCA, and that's the thing. Like I never wanted to do anything. I disagreed with that. Like I thought that was just absolutely ridiculous. But there for a while they were
That sounds
so
like somebody's
weird.
competitive pride came into a decision that, like, instead of just keeping it cowboy and realizing,
Carl Stressman, who was the CEO of Wrangler, who was, you know, the head of the PRCA at the time. So you have Carl Stressman, the CEO, which Carl was always super nice and very friendly. I've always
same.
liked Carl. He's
Yeah.
you know, Aaron,
Right.
even Aaron wasn't a total, like Aaron was nice, but I never understood, like in rodeo, who cares what company, if they want to give us money, if Rock and Roll Denim, if Cinch, if Levi's, if Tommy Hilfiger Jeans wants to give in $200,000, let's take it.
It would also be a little different if it was if we didn't get sent 1099s at the end of the year and we got W-2s, meaning like, hey, we're self-employed, we're paying entry fees to ride. You know what I'm saying? Like, well, I guess the rodeo clowns do.
You
but,
get 1099 on all your stuff.
but as contestants, we have to abide by those same rules, and but we have to pay for all of our own stuff. Like we got to win our money, but then again, we can't necessarily always take our sponsors with us.
Yeah, if you win the Coors Man in the Can, which the Coors Man in the Can buckle is exactly like the world champion buckle.
Mm.
If you win the Coors Man in the Can buckle, they've got that valued at $25,000. The Tony Kitchka bronze that comes with the Man in the Can, they got that valued at $4,000. Your coat, they got it valued at $750. So when you win an award, they 1099 you as that is income.
No way.
Yeah. For real.
Yeah.
Which is a big shocker the first year. Like,
That's a
I
lot of
did it. You get home, you're
1099s.
like, holy crap, this is very expensive.
Yeah, that's
So,
a lot of 1099s.
Yeah. So that's,
But what I'm saying is like we're contract labor. You know, like you would think that like, no, you can't wear this, you can't do that, you can't do this. But, you know, that's typically the way it would happen if somebody was, you know, an employee.
Well, so that's how, you know, that whole contract labor versus employee deal, you know, that's how, you know, I got in that horrible lawsuit in Denver from that lady who fell in the arena, not even doing anything cool. Like I was bringing a lady in for a clown act and she tripped and fell and broke her arm. And so I got sued. And so the National Western's like, well, you can't sue us because he's a private contractor.
Yeah.
So you can only sue him. And I'm like, I'm not a contractor because you tell me when I can be in the building, when I can't be in the building, when I can be in the arena, what I can say in the arena, what can be on my barrel, what I can wear on my back, which makes that an employee.
Yeah, that the clown deal seems different. I was thinking more like of the competitors that
So
you know,
there's
like
the
a
whole
contestant.
Either way, it's all I don't know if there's anybody really knows any of the what. I learned a lot about lawsuits though, and it only cost me a ton of money in about 2 years and a lot of sleepless nights, but we finally settled and I learned a lesson.
Yeah. Regardless, it sounds like just competitive, you know, amongst these like huge
Well,
companies.
don't you think though that like
you got caught in the middle of it?
like NASCAR, they take anybody that wants to throw money.
Yeah.
Like, you know, we talked earlier about the breakaway open. You want to have that in the Thomas and Mack? What if you had a sponsor come and say, we're going to give you $500,000 to make this happen? Are they going to say, no, you're competing with Wrangler, so you can't take that.
The exclusivity.
You know, I'm all for, you know, if Wrangler is the exclusive sponsor of the NFR, let them still be the exclusive sponsor, but be able to take anybody that wants to contribute to make rodeo better. Why would you turn down their money? And look what Cinch has done now. Since Cinch has got to come in there, we have the Cinch Junior High Finals, the Cinch Timed Event Finals, the Cinch sponsors the college finals, the Cinch in Sioux Falls at the Governor's Cup. You look at all their contributions, and it's not saying, oh, Wrangler is better, Cinch is better. It's just two companies that have the same values that want to support the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so let them. You know, when you went to the rodeo, like a Wrangler rodeo back in the day, you couldn't wear cinch.
Mm-hmm.
You could not wear cinch. But you know what? At a cinch shootout, if you're sponsored by Wrangler, if you're sponsored by Rock and Roll, whoever you're sponsored by, they don't care.
Yeah.
They don't never at a cinch shootout, they've never said, cover that up.
Yeah.
You know?
That's cool.
So
that's cool.
That's a lot of information.
No, that's a interesting story. And it just the way you have dealt with some of the negative. I mean, it just seems like, you know, with the lawsuit and this story, and then even some like haters in the comments, like you seem to be handling all these situations.
I feel so much better about those things. It's all, that's one thing that I've really got this year. I've got through a lot of, almost to the place where I don't want to say that I don't care, but I'm fine with it.
Is your skin thicker, or do you have better perspective? What is it?
I don't know. I think just after all this time, I'm like, well, whatever. I don't know these people, so why do I care?
Yeah.
You know, I don't know what happens, you know, like it's fine. Like
I saw a deal on the plane, like stop seeking validation from a world that killed a man that was absolutely perfect.
Yeah. So I still, and that's the other hard part about being at the NFR is being around all these people. You know, you see so many people. Everybody is at the South Point. That everybody's there. Mm-hmm. So like when I go through there, I know like all these people that don't like me, that have said bad things about me, and I see them. And most of the time, I'm like, hey, what's up? Good to see you. I'm like, really? You know?
Dang.
So it's kind of hard. That's kind of hard part, because like if you don't like somebody, don't like them, but don't try to talk to them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, just being fake in
the rodeo deal. Pete Card told me this, and it makes a lot of sense. He said the rodeo deal is so crazy. Pete says with his business he has in Dallas and his construction business, he said there are 20 other people that have construction companies that do the exact same thing that he does. The exact same jobs that Pete does, there's 20 other companies right there. He don't know who works for him. He doesn't know what they look like. He doesn't know where they're from. He doesn't know what their trucks are. but he just knows there's 20 other companies. In rodeo, every rodeo person across the country knows who works for who, who's sponsored by who, what he did on this deal, what kind of truck he drives.
Yeah.
Like the rodeo deal is so weird.
It is.
In that, like there's this one lady that's always at the South Point, and like every time somebody puts a bad comment about me, she likes it. Always. I guarantee when I go to the South Point tonight, she's going to be the first one to give me a hug. And it's so hard because, I that's where I fight my head, and that's where I'm very open with everybody, because I'm like, I'm trying to be a good Christian, and I want to be a good Christian, but in the back of my mind, I also have these thoughts of ninja kicking an old woman in the face with my foot. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
And so during the NFR, everybody you never have to see these people throughout the year, but then during the NFR, you're all in one spot, and
dude, I just can't imagine people not liking you. Like,
well,
I
get it,
I understand that we all have haters, like somewhere, whatever, but I just cannot see it being a big group of people.
Well,
Like just random.
It's all people I've never met. But that's the thing. Like, it's just so hard.
I don't get it. I don't get it.
Like, if I don't like somebody, I will avoid the crap out of them. Like, I will do anything that it takes. Actually, one time when my kids were, never mind. But
no, we'll take it out. You can tell us. We'll take it out.
well, one time when my kids were little, there's a guy that was at a rodeo, and I couldn't stand him. He goes to like try to walk up and talk to me, and I had to act like my kid in his pants. And then I got to go change his diaper, and I just take off running and stuff. And then I taught my kids too, like if I give them a certain tap on the shoulder, they ask me to go to the bathroom, and so I wouldn't have to be around some people, like, because like I'm all for like if you don't like somebody, that's fine, but always don't like them. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you don't like me all the time, but don't well, Justin Rumford, what have you been doing? Like,
Yeah.
I know you, and you don't like me.
Yeah.
But I'm always like, oh, good to see ya.
Yeah.
That's why I've been trying to overdo it on some of these deals, like, oh, there's one guy, I cannot stand him. He's on a rodeo that fired me, and he's just that committee guy. And committee guys are the best. I would not have a job without committee guys, but some of these committee guys that are the biggest losers in the world because they got you and they know they've got you.
Yeah.
If they hire you for their rodeo and they're paying you good, you can't tell them how stupid they are because they're about to give you a big check.
Right.
And so you have to put up with this one guy. He hated me. Oh, he hated me. And he was pretty upfront about it, for a while. Well, I guess you're here. I didn't vote for you, but try to be funny. I'm like, all right. So I know this guy hates me. And so now every time I see him, I try to give him a hug. Like when he's like, well, Justin Rumford, I'm like, there. And I just start reaching out, and he's like, kind of backs off. And then that's actually kind of worked because he's kind of quit coming around now. So hug your enemies, I guess, so.
Yeah.
But it's not just that way for me. It's everybody out there, all my friends, they're like, oh yeah, this guy, there's so many people that don't like so many of us, but yeah, you all get in one spot, and they're all trying to, I don't know if it's really keeping the peace or just, like even the wives that, hate the other wives, and they're like, oh my God, you look so pretty. I'm like, wait a minute. I know you two hate each other. Like, look at your hair. Oh, like, no, girls.
Right.
Yeah. And then there's like hundreds. I'd like to know how many like behind the scenes rodeo Snapchat groups there are, like, that are going around, because like you'll see in the convention, like people are like trying to do take the picture sideways, and then cause they're sending that to a Snapchat or a text chain.
Yeah, for sure.
And so
I'm sure I'm in a lot of them.
I haven't seen any of you in there, but so there's so much going on. But yeah, I just, at the end of the day, I've really figured out, like, man, I got a good deal going, and just as long as I just keep rocking, people have been talking bad about me for years, but it hasn't slowed down. I go to Odessa. I got Reno Rodeo this year for the first time in June that I get to go to. I'm going to the Stagecoach Rodeo in Thermal, California this year.
Yeah.
So that's a new one. So what the new PBRs that I get to go do that I've never got to do. So like these opportunities I'm still getting to do cool stuff. And so like people sitting at home, they can be upset and have their opinions, but at the end of the day, man, it's all good. Can't keep everybody happy. Danged if you do, danged if you don't. But I hope I see a couple people I hate tonight. Cause you know what? I think I am going to give out some hugs.
I don't know. The opinions I think that matter for you are that bride and those 3 little babies.
I agree. That's one other thing that really Nate Justice, the bullfighter. I love Nate. Nate and Bridget are great people, and Nate is a good guy.
I agree.
And just a solid guy. And just
I wish he could fight bulls better, but he's a really good guy.
I want to say that. That Nate, he's Mongo. He might come in here and knock this house over.
No, I know. I love Nate.
That's what Nate said a while back. He said, he's talking about his bullfighting, and he goes, but the thing about it is, he said, no matter how good of a bullfighter I am, he said, those kids aren't going to love me more if I have a gold buckle or another NFR coat.
For sure. That is a good thing to say.
And that's one cool thing to having my kids out here.
How many NFRs has he worked? 6?
Oh, yeah, he's worked a bunch.
He's one of those guys that, I feel like I could just have no fear if he's in the arena.
Yeah, you look at his rodeos. Calgary, San Antonio, Odessa, Deadwood, Cody, Wyoming.
Yeah.
Ellensburg, Wickenburg, or not Wickenburg, Kennewick.
Yeah.
Like Nate's got every good rodeo there is, but he's just got such a great perspective. He's just such a good guy, a good family man, and that's what we all got to remember. At the end of the day, we're doing this for a job, but at the same time, as long as we're taking care of ourselves and our families, we all the stuff that's going to go on, like all the people worried about the horse herpes out here, which has been great for many jokes, but people are never going to stop being irritated or being upset. So,
well, what life advice do you have?
Man, I would say my life advice would be just take care of yourself, take care of your inner circle, and you can't let the outside world bother you too much. Yeah. I got to tell you one more story.
Let's hear it.
I really made some people upset 2 days ago. Really upset, and it was an accident. But I got to tell you this story because this is my last piece of advice if you happen to come to Vegas. How much do you know about pigeons?
Not much.
Dude, Vegas pigeons are weird, dude. They're not scared of you. Like, they're these big Vegas pigeons that are always around the casinos, and like they eat French fries and hang out, and like they're everywhere. And they're not scared. Like in Oklahoma, you can't get within 30 foot of a pigeon. But in Las Vegas, pigeons will like hop up to you. Have you guys seen these Vegas pigeons?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
So the first day I was here, this pigeon, and he's fat. He's big like me, and so I kind of felt, like cool with him. I was at the valet at the Paris, and there's a bunch of Asian people behind me, and they threw this pigeon some food, and so he was like, the pigeon was all happy about it, and he's all hopping around. So this other pigeon is like a friend of his, I guess, and so they both come over, and after the Asian lady gives him French fry, then this pigeon, he's kind of by my foot, and he's kind of looking at me, and I don't really like pigeons, especially Vegas pigeons, because they're all dirty, and so I just kind of like try to tap the pigeon away. I didn't really. Have you ever tried to kick a pigeon? I wouldn't try to kick him, but
not that I know.
Like
of.
if you take your foot around a pigeon and you kind of put your foot towards him, a lot of times the pigeon will kind of go away. So like we're waiting there and it's taking forever. So this pigeon, like kind of go like that, and so he kind of goes over there, and I don't think nothing of it. Well, he comes right back because this pigeon thought I had some French fries, which I'm the kind of guy that would have French fries. I get it, but like he comes back and he's right by my foot. And he doesn't really like peck my foot, but he like kind of steps on it. So I'm like, try to get like the cattle deal, I'm like kind of, I kind of go like that. And so the pig, like, it like kind of pisses the pigeon off. No, this is all a true story. So then he comes back. Well, then him and the other pigeon I told you about earlier, they both come back and they're standing right by my foot. And so I do it again. I kind of do a little quicker and they kind of bounce back. And here comes my car. I'm like, oh, thank goodness. Well, the big fat pigeon, the one I kind of liked earlier, he comes running back. And for the last time, I was just going to shoo him off with my foot. So I kicked pretty hard. Well, I connected. I hit the pigeon, kicked him pretty solid, and it rolled the pigeon like 3 foot. And then he just lays there. And I'm thinking, how in the hell did I just kill it? It wasn't like I kicked him like a football. It was just more like a bump. Like
Yeah.
I bumped the pigeon. And the lady behind me lost her.
Oh my gosh.
And I kind of feel like in a way that the pigeon knew it because he laid there for quite a while. And then here my car pulls up. Well, the valet guy that comes whipping out of there because I'm standing by the curb, he about runs over the pigeon. And finally, this lady's like, I cannot believe you would do that to that poor bird. I'm like, he's trying to peck my shoe. And I go over there and I kind of tap. I just tap the pigeon at the end and he gets up and kind of looks at me all. And then him and the other pigeon, they both like just take off walking. And that lady behind is like, I hope you're happy you just kicked an animal. I'm like, for one, it's a pigeon. And for two, I feel like that pigeon kind of had it coming.
Set that up.
So
He kind of set that up.
So anyhow, I guess that'd be my last piece of advice. If you come out to the NFR, you're in valet,
Be careful who you kick pigeons in front of.
don't trust the pigeons. Thank you.
Look out for pigeon. And mic drop.
Boom.
Yeah. Thanks, Rump.
Thank you guys.
Y'all check out Rump Chat and rodeotime.com. Love you all and love Rump.
Yeah.
Pow, pow.